beings, today we will rank down the top 10 worst movies of the year, the creme de la creme of the worst and the awfulest, the most sour cream you will ever have in life, the worst, the most stinky movies, the movies you really just want to snap out of existence. Snap out of existence. What a fail. Works perfectly for this video. Alright, you really can be sure that I had this joke lined up. I didn't know. I don't know if I ever used this thing once before in a video because I just saw it standing here and I thought, hey, I have a gauntlet. It works for this video and it's a perfectly fine gauntlet. It's like 30 euros. You can use it for a lot of stuff and it's not that heavy. You can do great things with it. It's what you want to do with it. So yeah, let's go. All right, so let's get straight into it. I haven't made a list in a long time. I made a list about the best movies in 2022. That list is online now. So if you haven't seen that one, it's great too. I said before in that video, there's a similarity going on this year, which is quite funny, as the #1 best movie of the year is also kind of reminiscent and kind of the same like the worst movie of the year. It has some similarities. So yeah, it's interesting. So if you have seen my best of video, then you kinda know what movie will be on the bottom of this list, and that is funny. Furthermore, my list isn't the right list, it's just my list. So if your list is different, please let it know in the comments down below because I'm really excited to hear your most stinky movies of 2022. So let's get straight into it with the top 10. It will be exactly as I always rank down my videos. It will be 10 to 6 or 10 to 6 will give you 3 honorable mentions, 5 to 2, 3 honorable mentions, and then #1, the most stinky movie of the year. So let's get straight into ranking these motherfuckers. And the number 10, we have a movie I actually already kind of forgot even came out this year, and that is Tall Girl 2. I saw the first one, I saw the second one when it released, and I gotta say they were the most forgettable movies out there. Thought this one was a bit better than the first one, but oh my god, it still was a flop and a disaster to watch. Like, in a world where we have wars and other stuff, this girl is complaining about her height. And I know height is an issue for women because men are assholes and they don't want taller women, but actually, I don't care. Other guys I'm not gonna talk about, but hey, it's like the biggest issue in this film, but yet again they made 2 movies out of it, and it still is a problem. So please, get on with it. What do you want? Want you to be shorter? Please do something. No, you can't. Be happy with who you are. Do not make Netflix movies about this. You are tall. You can be tall. You're beautiful tall, but don't make stinky fucking movies because yeah, then people will hate you being tall. Fucking Tall Girl 2. Why am I talking about Tall Girl 2? #9 is a movie about a short story from Stephen King, which would be great in other ways, in other directors, and other directions. But here we are with a movie that I thought no one saw, but I have seen this movie on quite some worst movies list, and that's Firestarter. I mean, this movie was bad to begin with. It had an awful script, awful characters, awful everything, awful CGI, and most importantly, awful dialogues. I mean, there is this kid in this movie that can put things in fire and put it on fire, and she's very hot in the literal sense of the word because she is a minor and I'm not gonna get in trouble. She is really skin hot. I should go over this topic. It's getting way too awkward now. She gets hot. I should stop saying that. Her body temperature is very warm. All right, so she makes a lot of things happen and it's actually quite okay in some parts of the movie, and I actually thought about putting this higher in the list, but then this same stinky body warm hot girl, she says, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." I legit almost walked out of the theater after hearing that. It was so incredible fucking bad. I was literally angry for that. Did you know that we had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie this year? I mean, do you remember that? Because I didn't. I was just surprised when I just saw it on this list. I mean, why does no one remember this? It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The first one is a classic for having the easiest script ever. Because the script is just and that's the entire movie. This one tries to have a story, but is woke and does other things like trying to make it relatable for 2022. And that's exactly what you came up with. It's a stinker of a movie and a stinker of a year. Blacklight is another Liam Neeson action flick after he said he would stop doing action flicks like 17 movies ago. Yeah, it's not good. Absolutely not. And I actually can't tell you what this movie is about because I have seen like 2 or 3 Liam Neeson films and all of them, I get them mixed up. I know Memory is the most significant one. It's not on this list because it was better, but it's just a remake of a Belgian movie, so that's why I remembered that. But Blacklight, I thought he was a hitman and he was revolting against the agency he was working for because the agency is stinky, just like the movie, just like the list, just like everything. All right, yeah, Blacklight. Shoot, you don't watch it. Remember I talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Well, do you remember there was also a Cheaper by the Dozen film? And I mean, what? What? I didn't know what to say about this. I really can't say anything about it. I completely forgot what this movie was about. It's Cheaper by the Dozen. I have to say I have never seen the original Cheaper by the Dozen movies. But this was not very good. It was woke, again, it had some other stuff, and it's, yeah. No, it was not that good, and I actually don't remember any of it, apart from there being racism in this movie, which really did not fit in this movie. It was a children's story, it was quite but then they threw in like racism and stuff, and I just was like, dude, if you're gonna talk about racism, make it worth your while. It's important we talk about these things, but please do not do it in a movie from Disney called Cheaper by the fucking Dozen. Then I have some honorable mentions for you for movies that are stinky but just not stinky enough to be on the list. And the first one being Deep Water. When I first heard what this movie was gonna be about, it was gonna be an erotic thriller. And I mean, I am a 22-year-old man simping over Ana de Armas, so I was crazy excited for this movie, and I actually didn't see it for months, being that the scores were really bad. And I saw it, and I saw what the scores were for. This movie had the potential to be great, as Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck were real-life dating because of this movie, and it did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. And maybe the best comic book movie of the year has to be Morbius. It's on this list. It was great. It was phenomenal. It had a good script, good characters, good everything. It was the most fun movie ever, and everyone should have watched it because it was great. It was awesome. It was so good. So good. Love that. And Pray for the Devil. Forgettable, boring, dull, bad. Every year I say to myself that I am not gonna watch those stinky Netflix original movies that no one cares about and no one's gonna watch just for the sake of watching a 2022-year-old movie. And every year I fail to myself in that sentence and I do watch some stinker movies, and this year is Brazen. Cannot tell you anything about it. It's a detective story, it's a spy detective story, it's something else. It is a mystery murder thing. But there was no mystery. Everything I saw coming from, well, like a mile away. So yeah, it was not that interesting, not that good, not that phenomenal. Just, it came out, I watched it, and I forgot about it like the same day. So yeah, nah. Then we have a movie that actually made me very angry when I watched it, and that is The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. I am a big fan of the Ice Age franchise. I love the first, love the second, and even deeply love the third one. I think the third one is great. But then we had the rest of the movies, and then we had Disney taking over Blue Sky Studios, making Blue Sky go bankrupt, and then buying the rights or getting the rights, but in order to keep the rights to the Ice Age franchise, they had to make a movie, and they came up with this. It's so painful that none of the original actors being in the franchise wanted to come back, apart from Simon Pegg playing Buck Wild because the movie is dedicated to him, and he probably got a really big paycheck. Everything in this movie screams awful, and it is more awful than you would ever hope this movie could be. It's literally the worst, and it deserved to be on the bottom of this list if I didn't see 3 movies even more stinky. Of course, my international audience will not know what this movie is gonna be about, but FOMO is a Belgian horror type movie with some influencers instead of actors doing some influencing shit like TikTok, YouTubers, and everything else. They're thrown together into a house, a cabin in the woods basically. They have to do stuff for their online series, but they get killed along the way. That's what this movie is about. It was a prequel to a series that came to the Belgian streaming service Streams, and I absolutely hated every single second of it. The first and the only thing I wanted to see when going into this movie was those Belgian celebrities, seeing them get killed, and even that wasn't satisfying. So you know, this movie was awful. Deserved to be on this list. Deserved to be lower. Everything I hated. I hate this. Now there is a movie that actually made me really, really mad, Netflix edition, and that is The Bubble. The Bubble was supposed to be this great comedy movie coming out of nowhere on the 1st of April with a packed, action-stacked cast. Everything looked bright for this movie. The directing, Judd Apatow, what are you doing? Why did you make this? I mean, you have made some good stuff in your life. So what is The Bubble? I didn't laugh once. I actually cried almost from knowing how bad this was. I hate it when I fall asleep in a movie. I actively tried falling asleep with this movie. It's that bad. It's the second worst of the year, obviously. I really hate it, like every single second. It's so bad. But first, some other honorable mentions I have seen this year include The Ledge, and The Ledge is a movie kinda in the same ranks as Fall, but Fall was good. This one isn't. This one is a very interesting idea, and it gets the tension just the same way Free Solo did, only Free Solo actually was intense. This movie is just irritating as fuck because there are so much stupid things happening in this movie. Like, why would you climb up? Why would you do all of this in the first place? And even the worst part about this is the dialogues, because the bad guy says nothing but bitch, 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 bitch through the entire movie. And I actually wanted him to smash his head against the fucking stone in this movie. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. It isn't the worst movie, isn't the best movie. I just felt nothing with it. It's kind of awful, but it's not awful enough to actually bother about it. I'm just gonna forget this one existed and wait for next year when they release the 3rd Diary of a Wimpy Kid, probably. That's how it's supposed to go. Actually, still have to upload my first movie reaction to the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So yeah, that's what's happening with this thing. And for the next honorable mentions, I actually have to say sorry to you guys that I actually watched it, because I was actually quite excited to see it, to see how bad this was gonna get. And it's a hot take, Depp/Hurl's trial, because obviously in June to July, August, there was this trial for this guy named Johnny Depp and this woman named Amber Heard, and they had a dispute over domestic abuse, and Johnny Depp lost his career, and everyone sided with Johnny Depp, like me, because obviously Johnny Depp is awesome. And Amber Heard, she acted the entire way through. Not gonna delve deep into that, but they also made a movie 2 months later, and it's actually awful that they already made it, but I just had to see it. And I am deeply disgusted to the fact that I didn't hate this movie as much as I wanted to. I actually really enjoyed watching this. It's awful in every way, but I loved the dedication and I just had a good time watching this. But on the first place, the worst movie of this year, the crème de la crème, the most sour cream, the most awful movie of this year is Pinocchio, not Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, even not the Disney live-action Pinocchio, which was also fairly bad and is not so far from this one, but the Russian-based Pinocchio movie. And Russia has not been on a great track record recently. As we all know, they have been bombing in the box office and in Ukraine, so that's interesting. But this movie, they tried doing Pinocchio justice, but they absolutely didn't. The English voice cast for this was even worse, with them saying like, "Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I got the whole world to see," and other stuff. I know you know the sentence. It has been out for a long time. The sentence is awesome. Like, "Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I got the whole world to see." That's Pinocchio, all right? And when that was being announced, and I saw that trailer, and I heard the sentence, I just knew I had to see this movie when it came out, and I saw it. And I regretted it with every inch of my body. I thought I was gonna have a good time watching this shit show of a movie, but I still was mad. So that's saying something. Alright, so those are my top 10 worst movies of the year. Do you agree with my list? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm really excited to hear your opinion on it. What did you like about this year? Or actually, what didn't you like? What movies did you think sucked the most? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm really excited to hear your bottom list. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. And hold up, because we have a big video coming in, namely my most anticipated movies of 2023. And please watch that video, because 2023 is gonna be jam-stacked with movies, and I really had a difficult job ranking them. So yeah, let's see that movie.